Hey guys, Derry here, and welcome back to GregTech once more. We are finally gonna get started on the organized fuel storage facility. It's again something that's been it's necessary that we do it. It's something that I continue putting it off, and whenever I try to make a plan what to do in the next episode, there's always so many more things that I kind of want to do instead. But first things first, we have a horse out here, and we need to name him. Now, as of recording this video, I've received two name suggestions. The first one being Crabback. And, well, despite him smiling, I don't think he appreciates that name. The other one was Quicksilver, which it's gonna be. That's basically it. If we shift right click... No? Oh right, I have to rename this in an anvil, that's correct. Alright, I guess I need to make an anvil. Yeah, let's just, do it properly. I have a bunch of iron in here. I hope I have enough. I'm not trying to rhyme here. I'm just making mistakes. We need 3 blocks of iron. And I actually need to compress those. I just realized that. I am being very, very silly right now. So 27 iron in the compressor should make me 3 blocks. And then we can make the anvil. In the meantime, while that compresses, there is one more thing I want to do. If we go down here... basically, actually, hold on. If I'm to explain this properly, I'll need to start at the source. So, whenever I harvest the rubber trees outside, I get this sticky resin stuff. When I stuff this in the industrial centrifuge, I get 4 different products. I get the rubber, which is the main thing. I get the plastic, which is not that great. I get compressed plants, and I get plant balls. Now, the plant balls, we already have a system where I can just toss them in here, and they'll automatically go into the compressor. But... I would like to be able to just stuff the compressed plants in there as well. Compressed plants, they're only really gotten from that. I guess you can see here the centrifuge. You can get from dirt, you can get them from grass blocks, and you can get them from sticky resin. So it's kind of a special case scenario, but I still would like to not have to go down here all the time to deal with them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first of all punch this one out, and then put an iron pipe right there. Then I'm gonna punch this one out and put a diamond pipe right there. And finally I'm gonna take one of these quartz pipes and put in the corner. So now we have the iron pipe here, which makes sure that all items going into this pipe will go out the output slot, which is this side. So they'll go down here, and then we have this one, which will take pretty much which will now take the compressed plants. See, okay, they compressed plants, they go yellow, so they go this way down directly into here, and thus skipping past the compressor stage. So if we open the chest here and toss those in just to make sure that they go the correct way. They look really silly coming out of the chest, I must admit, but hopefully they will be guided in the right direction. Yes, they are. Beautiful. So that is exactly what we want, actually. Those things coming out, going in here, and then hopefully if the iron pipe works correctly, they will turn and go down. Yes, exactly. Beautiful. And of course the bat box here has almost filled up with the stuff from last time that we put in. I haven't really put anything else in since then. But yeah, it'll before too long be at full power and just kind of stay the state there. So that's pretty cool. Now, it's nighttime, so I'm just quickly gonna sleep so we can have the solar panels working, because I actually do need to gather up a bunch of power. At the moment, I also quickly need to check if the rock crusher in here is empty, because I kind of want to save the power. I have a bunch of titanium that I want to smelt up in the blast furnace here. Titanium, of course, being a very precious mineral material that is, at this point in the game, mainly gotten from bauxite. I think there are other sources for it as well, but bauxite is the main one that I've been able to access. There we go, anvil. And I have a lot of titanium, actually. I think it's in here, yeah. I have 12 on me here, I have 15 there. 12 is what's needed to get the universal macerator, which would pretty much render the rock crusher unnecessary. And that is potentially a really good thing, because it means I don't have to deal with 2 different power source systems. I can replace the macerator here with the universal one, and it will do whatever I want it to do and give byproducts as well. So I kind of want to achieve that, get that up here. But I still want to keep the rock crusher because the rock crusher has a bunch of recipes that the macerator doesn't. Among them being the whole recycling tools. It's also converting cobblestone and gravel, like converting cobblestone into gravel and gravel into sand. And those are things, the abilities that I want to keep. So anyway, this anvil here, I'm gonna put it there. Bam! And we can now rename this. Let's see, name tag, nope. Quicksilver. Do we wanna do capital S or just silver, Quicksilver? We could also call them Mercury, which is the same thing. But no. Quicksilver. I'll do the capital S thing. It makes it easier to pronounce. There we go. Spend 5 levels on that, and then finally we can go attach it to the horse. Now for the creosote. What I want to do, as I mentioned last time, I want to set up a Railcraft tank for it somewhere in this facility. And the Railcraft tanks, there are 2 different types of tanks. There's the steel tank, of course, and there's the iron tank. Steel tanks holds twice as much as the iron tank for the same volume, like the same amount of blocks. But of course, it being made of steel, it's more expensive. Not that that really is a big deal. We have a lot of steel. It's just a matter of, you know, getting it made up into plates. Get this one going. 3, 2, 1, bam. Alright. So, tank. As you can see, there is the steel tank wall and there's the iron tank wall over here. Now, the iron tank, you can see heights 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and diameter is 3, 5, 7, 9. You can do this, like you can do these tanks 3 by 3 and then just make them really tall, or you can do it like 5 by 5 by 5 or whatever you want. There are some rules as to how you were supposed to like make the skeleton and such, but it's really not that simple, or it's really not difficult. Rather, that's what I meant to say. So on the last page here, you can see the recipe for the actual steel tank walls. These are the main components that make up the thing. You would also need some valves, which are a steel tank valve. On the final page as well, a lever, 4 steel plates, and 4 set of iron bars. Makes 8 valves. And then finally there are the tank windows, I think they're called. Tank gauges, alright. Which is, again, steel or iron plates and glass panes. And these allow you to see the contents of the tank very easily. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a couple of different things here. We're gonna first of all grab, let's see here, we can grab a lever. And do I have any iron bars left? I know that I made a bunch of them at one point. There we are, iron bars, excellent. So if we take all of this over here, put that in there, we can start with the we can start by making the wrong recipe. That's what we're gonna do. Start by making the tank valves. Then we can move on to making some tank gauges. We just need some glass panes here. We need 5 of them. 5, there we go. And again, start out by making the recipe wrong, as always. Tank gauges, and finally we can make some tank walls. Now, as you can see, these you get quite a few components for every single piece of steel you invest. Actually, like 1 piece of steel gives you 2 components, pretty much, no matter what recipe you use. Now, the creosote has a couple of different uses. We can either use it in the semi-fluid generator, as you have seen us do before, or we can use it in what is called a liquid fuel firebox for making steam. Now, making steam is, as long as, if we get the universal macerator as mentioned earlier, and we just keep the electric engines when we want to fire this up once in a while, we don't really need a steam setup. But at one point in the near future, I could imagine, like, I think you can make steam turbines. There is, there's a big, there's the gas turbine, which I think you can pump steam into. But there's also the large steam turbine here, which can consume a lot of steam, and it then produces a lot of electricity. GregTech 1.7, it's being changed so that there are no more, like, not the normal generator is missing. It's basically being replaced by a steam turbine. So with GregTech 1.7, power generation is basically being made more like it is in the real world, where the more steam you can generate, the more power you can generate, because, well, every single power plant in the world functions by heating up water, turning into steam, and then running that steam through turbines. That's how every single power plant in the world pretty much functions. So it's a pretty efficient process, and it makes a lot of sense for GregTech to adapt the same, technology or whatever. So let us put the steam tank over here. Not the steam tank, the creosote tank. What am I thinking? So I think we want to do a 3x3 tank. So I'm gonna dig out a 3x4 area here because, why not? Now, as I mentioned, there are some rules as to how you make this tank. The primary thing is that it needs to be, first of all, 4 blocks tall. It needs to have a framework made of iron or steel tank walls like this. And then the remaining slots you can fill in however you want. So if you want to pump stuff in, then you can put a gauge at the top. If you want to pump stuff out, you can have a gauge at the bottom, or not a gauge, a valve. And these valves, they have, like, if you want to pump stuff out, they have to be in the last 2 levels. So, like, you can put one there. And then finally you can have the gauges here, which, again, show you how much is inside. They don't change the volume of it at all. But you can see now we have a tank. Some of the borders disappeared, and we can right-click it here, and we can see that it can contain 1,152 buckets of creosote oil. Now, in loose math, let us just quickly do the math here. Let's see, 1152 divided by 16. This is the equivalent of 72 Buildcraft tanks. Now, we have like 8 Buildcraft tanks previously storing creosote, so this one should be able to contain quite a bit. Now, don't ask me why exactly I made this little dent down here, because I can't really use this valve. But I can use the valve in the middle to pump stuff out. Alternatively, we can just use this valve here and then have the steam tube or the semi-fluid generator somewhere out in front of it, and then connect up to maybe this line here. I think at the moment we're not putting 32 through this, so we could pretty easily. We can also put a transformer somewhere along this line and just feed into the transformer directly. But yeah, we need to move the creosote oil we have into this tank, and we need to move the creosote oil generation we have into this tank as well. And I actually think that I want to have the creosote boilers, the cold coke ovens over here next to it. Is that a bad idea? Is it a bad idea? I actually don't know. I'm thinking it might be a bad idea. I'm thinking it might be a good idea. I really don't know anymore, actually. We could also have, like, we could put them pretty much anywhere. We could also put them behind here and then just run a pipe underground. I think that might be a good idea, actually. Because this area over here is not really that useful. Yeah, let's do that. So, first of all, we need to empty them out so we can actually dismantle them. And that means getting something that can contain a lot of creosote oil, which is why these empty cells are so good. Basically, they're reusable buckets, and they don't get destroyed when you empty them out into these sort of tanks. So as you can see, this one has 63 buckets worth of stuff in it. So all but one of these will actually get filled up. Now if I take this one here and fill from the tanks in here, the pipes underneath should drain, and that last 0.012 here should theoretically empty out. We'll see. If not, then it's not a big deal. It's not a big loss. Now, when these are full with creosote, they only stack to 16, so that's the sort of downside to it, I guess. But we can still carry them, it's not a big deal. So let's just get the last 15 here. There we go. And we can start moving this stuff in. I think we really should just like try and get this stuff moved in here as soon as we can. Again, clean out the old house so we can, without problems, use it for something new. So we just toss them in here, and you can see filling up quite nicely. Although that is not supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to lose the cells. Why does that happen? I am not supposed to be losing the cells. What's going on here? Ah, that sucks. Ah, I guess these tanks don't play nice after all. I thought they did. Well, I guess we'll just use creep these cells and put them directly into the generator. So, let's move the generator. And then I'll have to use a bunch of tin to make new cells. Damn it. Well, that's what happens when you try to wing it. You end up looking like a fool. Sorry about that. Anyway, semi-fluid generator. There you are. I forgot I turned off not enough items. I kinda missed that already. There we go. This is the wrong wrench. That's what's happening. We also have the gas turbine and the thermal generator, but since we don't really have a lava tank or anything yet, let us keep that for now. I'm thinking, in terms of, you know, using these the space down here, we could have a tank of similar size over here with lava, and then we could fit in one more with some other fuel. But again, unless I can find a reliable way of actually transferring in and out of cells, it's going to be a bit of pain to set up. But whatever. So let's put this generator right about here, semi-fluid generator, and then we need a couple of pipes in between. I guess we should have brought those as well while I was there. But in the mean, actually, hold on. Do I have any cable on me? I don't. We could, because we can start emptying out my cells, so I can actually use them for something again. If we connect this one up to this power line here, shouldn't prove a problem. We can just toss these in here, and you can see this one empties them quite nicely. The other thing's just being a bitch. Alright, so let's go pick up the redstone engine and the waterproof pipes, and then we can, you know, set up a system that's not necessarily automated, but, you know, one thing that would be kind of cool actually to have, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but basically setting up a daylight sensor on the roof, and then whenever the solar panels are off, we turn on the generators downstairs. I think that could be a pretty cool setup to have. Just sort of fully automatic, but not like just on all the time, but rather, hey, we have whenever there's some slack in the system, we can just fire up the generators downstairs, and it'll happen automatically because, well, that's convenient and easy. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to have. If anything, just to kind of, you know, mimic real life, where if you want to use solar power, then you have to have a backup generating whenever the sun's not out. Can I get that? Yeah. Alright, so let us get back in the basement. I really should use this passage here. Zombie. Wooden extraction pipe. Lock that right on there. Redstone engine right there. Or maybe I should put this on the other side. Whoops. Oh, yeah, let's put it here. And lever. And finally, fluid pipes. There we go. So this is not the fastest system. If I wanted to have a faster fluid transfer system, I'd need to use an emerald pipe here and then gold fluid pipes there. But whatever, this will work. We can continue putting this stuff in, emptying them out, so we can use them again for something else. And yeah, we have this stupid tank here we need to fill up and bring stuff into. Moving all of the creosote from inside here is going to be a bit of a pain. Like, I'm going to have to run a long pipe, just pumping stuff out of the tanks. I think that might actually be the best way to do it. Just put a pipe here and run it. To run that pipe, though, I would need to cook up a bunch of cactus. I think, yeah. Got a stack of cactus here. I don't know if that'll be enough, but it'll be enough to bring it at least part of the way there. Furnaces, they are hiding here. Half there, half there. Yeah, I'm gonna pause the recording for a bit while we cook up this stuff, and then once we have enough cactus green waterproofing to actually make the pipes and run them in here, we can start emptying out the tank inside. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. Alright, there we go. I have the pipe installed here. As you can see, I've kind of have to make a couple small holes, you know, in strategic locations in order to find the, or to guide the pipe to where it should be. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this redstone engine down here for just a moment again. And if we can actually pick it up. Inventory space! If we toss this, and then I can turn on my minus backpack quickly. It should contain, yeah. There we go. Alright, so we can now go in and actually start pumping out of the tank inside the house over here. That should... The pipe is connected all the way, it's all made of waterproofing, or rather, waterproof stone pipe. And I don't think I could make it any sort of shorter. Like, there are a certain number of blocks we have to go through. So if we start pumping out here, it should actually drain out both of these tanks as well, so we can move those in. Got a bunch of coal coke here we can move in as well. But yeah, I should just have done this from the start rather than trying with the cells. But then again, hindsight is bitch. Hindsight is always right. Stupid hindsight. So let's see, where is the creosote coming in? How far have we reached? We've just barely managed to exit the house now. Slowly crawling, slowly crawling. All this disgusting oil. Grease, whatever it is. It's gonna be good to have it in here in a you know, in a nice contained tank, rather than, you know, having it split around, lying in pipes. I think one of the things that, I don't know if it annoys me, but one of the kind of disappointing things about the system in there is that we ended up having so much of it that I actually couldn't work the ovens. Which means that I have actually quite a bit of surplus coal here. Since, well, I couldn't really, like, get rid of it. I couldn't do anything with it. I also have a bunch of logs I'd like to turn into charcoal, and I'd prefer to do that in the coke ovens, so we get the creosote as a byproduct. Now, the second good thing about getting this stuff in here is that we get the option of putting it into the liquid fuel firebox, should we decide to make a steam system again. I could also imagine a steam system being sort of useful if we wanted to, like, make a quarry or something nearby. Other than that, again, just getting the first tank set up down here sets a precedent. And later on, like, we can get you know, tanks for oil and well, yeah, oil and diesel fuel, that sort of thing. So you can see now using the gauges we can see inside and see it's actually pouring in quite nicely. It's one of the nicer looking features here. Again, the tanks, they need these walls in the corners, otherwise they just won't detect it being a complete tank. But yeah, so far so good. It seems to be working. We're getting emptied out in here, and that means we can start moving the ovens themselves. At least one of them I emptied myself, so we should definitely be able to move that. Grab my diamond drill. And just jump up here, make sure, yeah, this one's draining, this one is empty. Just grab these old blocks here. Luckily these guys have no lava or anything inside that could be dangerous. And yeah, you can see this pipe down here is also waiting to be drained fully. So even though the tank itself was drained, the pipe connected to it still had some stuff in it. So do I have all 26? Yes, I do. And of course, once these tanks have been moved, we can refurbish this area for something else. Potentially, you know, change the shape of the land a bit, make it look a bit nicer or whatever. It's, again, reclaiming resources that could be used otherwise. That's sort of one of the good things that I kind of want to do here, rather than, you know. I also recycle. It's part of the Danish mentality, I guess. So we want to still just be able to walk in here just in case. So let's leave a one block spot open. So that 1, 2, 3, and then one between them. 1, 2, 3, and it should fit. Yeah. All right. So this one goes up here. Luckily, these guys they don't produce any pollution or change the layout or anything. So we can just keep that here, or put that there, and then we can install a pipe underneath, like make a little floor underneath to move liquids around with. I think that'd be pretty good. So now that we have this moved, let us grab a bit of coal and just start cooking it up. And then between sessions I'll get the other one moved in as well and dig out the basement so we can install the pipes. Again, I'm really looking forward to having like all of our stuff connected here in this factory and kind of have it get to the next stage of automation where we can basically, instead of having to move everything by hand, we can just kind of flip a switch and stuff happens. That is one of the really cool things that these tech mods have going for them. That again, instead of doing all the hard boring work in the game, you can kind of get the game to do the boring stuff by itself by doing more interesting stuff in setting it up. So you do interesting stuff in order to make the game do the boring stuff. That's the charm. I'll see you next time.